if you're someone who like is a candidate for, let's say, a tirzepatide, which I think is probably one of the more safe GLP-1s. It is expensive, but you know, you want to look at your blood work and say, okay, what are your insulin numbers at? What is your A1C at? Like, are you someone who's pre-diabetic range who like could use this to back that stuff? You know, we've talked about how GLP-1s maybe can benefit some of your heart specific categories. Like you
didn't touch on that.
I don't think I touched on that.
No,
I think
we talked about that before.
We were talking about that pre-episode, but so they've shown studies like some of these GLP-1s have benefit to, like, let's say you have high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and maybe that's related to you just have
a lot of weight,
adipose tissue. So that's making your heart have to perform a little bit harder, but we've shown like that can improve. So are you someone who's a candidate for a statin to like improve your blood pressure? Like, so we can look at your blood work and say, okay, this is something we want to improve. This is something we want to improve. This is something we want to improve. Maybe you're a candidate for this. What do you think? Assess the situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And just know, and just, it's just important to know the full context.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what are you getting yourself into?
Yeah.
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 And I'll say I've experimented with injecting CJC 1295 and ipamorelin, and a combination of that for growth hormone releasing effects. And I did notice deeper sleep. My average heart rate variability jumped about 20 points.
Holy smokes.
Which was,
significant.
Which I was surprised by,
that's awesome.
Which is a sign that I was getting better sleep and my nervous system was more recovered and more prepared to handle stress. So I know I was objectively measured that, okay, I'm ready to handle more stress and more adaptation by taking this.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily notice like a lot of like muscle growth or anything.
Yeah.
But I did it for about 45 days and then cycled off of it because you don't want to just be like constantly smashing the growth hormone button, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think these are tools. And again, I'm someone like, I don't mind kind of
being a guinea
pigging myself a little bit because I'm curious and this is my life. This is what I do. And again, I want to be able to have conversations with clients about like, you know, this is something that maybe works, something that you maybe should avoid. This is something that you probably don't need, you know, like.
Well, your experience too, because like we were going back and forth with that growth hormone because I was curious about it as well. And something to note about that is like it's going to secrete more of your natural growth hormone. And what we know about growth hormone is it creates what's called cell proliferation. So it's creating more cell molecules.
Yeah, signaling your body to produce more cells.
So if you're someone who, let's say, has a cancer history, like, and the reason why we were kind of discussing is like, I've had a risk of that. So I'm a high risk candidate. So if you've, like for my case, I took an immunotherapy drug for 12 months to basically dormant cancer cells. If you take something that's proliferating cells that can't decipher between good and bad cells, does it undo that work?
Yeah.
And does it make you more high risk to now just, you know, like give you cancer again?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if you have like,
you could have an unknown tumor, have no idea.
A small unknown tumor somewhere in your body. Yeah.
And then you're like getting on this thing, it proliferates those cells, grows that tumor. And now what do you do?
Yeah.
So like, it's risky.
Exactly.
You have to weigh and measure the risks and you have to understand what you're getting into.
Yeah. And we just don't know a whole lot yet.
Yeah.
But it does seem to be a very promising corner of the
health and fitness.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see. I mean, it's exciting, but just throwing this out there. If you're an average person, you want to lose some body fat, you want to put on some muscle, you can 100% get to a physique that you're very proud of through some hard work, some consistency, and not needing to take any sort of peptide or, you know, anything like crazy. You don't need to be injecting yourself with stuff. Like you can get to a good physique and be happy with the way that you look and feel with just eating well, moving well, taking care of yourself.
It's the unsexy work that always works. Is that not, I mean,
for real.
At the end of the day, whether you're a GLP-1 user, which again, I am not hating on GLP-1s, like, and I don't think any of our conversation is saying like, fuck peptides. Like, I think we're very confidently saying these can have benefit for you. But at the end of the day, if you're not exercising right, you're not sleeping well, you're not putting quality crap in your mouth, like this stuff doesn't work super well.
Yeah.
One of the studies I wanted to highlight, we were talking about this like pre-episode, but there was a study done, and it was actually one of the largest studies they've done on GLP-1 usage. They were focusing on tirzepatide specifically, which is used in what we talked about, like pre-diabetic range folks or people who even are type 2 diabetic, to improve their A1C and all these other factors. So this specific study took like a massive group of people. I think it was like 580 people. They put them on tirzepatide. And I don't know what the dosage was, but I would imagine it was like the same dose for everybody to keep things, keep that scientific method, for like 32 weeks or 36 weeks. Put them on tirzepatide, and they saw like amazing benefits, like 22% average weight loss amongst all of the candidates, which is significant. And we don't know whether that was like muscle and fat, or what that, body composition loss was, but you're taking people who are obese and you lose 22% body fat. Like, we'd hope that's a win. But it got interesting because then they put them on a placebo for like 56 weeks following using the drug. And then we see like some crazy numbers of all these people gaining back all of the body fat they had lost. So like literally like 1 in 4 individuals gain back like 70% of the weight loss. 25% of the people in this study
gained almost all of it back. And 9% of the people in the study only 9% were able to like sustain the weight loss. And so I think what that highlights, because in this specific study, they're not diving into nutrition, they're not diving into sleep, they're not diving into exercise. What it highlights is that without those unsexy habits, it's really hard to sustain the benefits from some of these drugs. Yeah. And we know if you're taking these drugs and say you get 20% of your body weight dropped off, which is fantastic. If you're not lifting weights, you're not eating enough protein, some or a lot of that weight is going to come from muscle mass, bone density, soft tissue, right? Your body's just basically shrinking because you're consuming less food. But if you're not communicating to your body that you need the muscle, you need the bone mass, you need the soft tissue resiliency through working out and asking your body to have that adaptation, then you'll just kind of shrink in general. But yeah, that just goes back to point to like how important.
Well, and to further that point, like you're talking about like resting metabolic rate. So like the calories that your body burns at rest to keep you alive, if you have less muscle, that number is going to decrease. Your body's going to create evolution around needing to function off of less calories. So what happens when you get off that drug? Your appetite is unsuppressed. You start eating like you used to eat. Well, now you're in a greater surplus, meaning
because your metabolic rate is now lower.
So you're now consuming significantly more calories than you're burning at rest, and that's how that weight comes right back on.
Yep.
And so it's important that you're building the habits. Like what I like to tell my clients, because like I have a lot of clients who use this stuff, and I think it's awesome. What I like to tell my clients is like these drugs can be used as a way to get you to the valley, that we can then along the way build the habits that are going to get you out of the valley. Like we want to get on the mountaintop. That's the goal. Right?
Yeah.
So we're going to take this thing that's going to snowball the momentum here so that now we've built a sustainable foundation to get you out. Does that make sense? Like to kind of paint that analogy or that picture. Because I want my clients to understand like the most important thing is the habits at the end of the day.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's the foundation of all of it. Yep. It's like what you're doing on a daily basis, how you're actually showing up in your life on a daily basis is the foundation.
1000%.